How did one of the most beloved sports heroes in history become the prime suspect in a gruesome double murder? This isn't just a story about crime. It's about deception, fame, obsession, and the unraveling of a carefully crafted image. This is the real story of O.J. Simpson, the rise, the fall, and the blood-stained legacy that shocked the world. Orenthal James Simpson, born July 9, 1947, in San Francisco, rose from humble beginnings. Raised in the tough Potrero Hill neighborhood, he was a sickly child who suffered from rickets, which left him bow-legged. But O.J. beat the odds. He found his calling on the football field, and by the time he played for the University of Southern California, he was a superstar. In 1968, he won the Heisman Trophy, college football's highest honor. The following year, he was drafted first overall by the Buffalo Bills. On the field, he was electric. In 1973, he became the first player to rush over 2,000 yards in a single season. He retired in 1979 as one of the most decorated running backs in NFL history. But O.J. wasn't just a football player, he was a brand. He seamlessly transitioned to acting and broadcasting. Whether it was Hertz rental car commercials or roles in blockbuster films like The Naked Gun, Simpson was everywhere. He was funny, charismatic, and most importantly, he was trusted. For many Americans, he was a symbol of success and racial progress. But cracks in the image began to show, starting with his personal life. Simpson married Nicole Brown in 1985. She was young, beautiful, and deeply in love. But behind closed doors, their marriage was turbulent. Nicole reported multiple instances of domestic violence, even calling 911 in terror, claiming O.J. was going to kill her. Police responded several times, but Simpson's fame seemed to shield him from serious consequences. In 1989, he pleaded no contest to spousal abuse. He received minimal punishment, probation, counseling, and community service. The cycle of violence continued. Nicole eventually filed for divorce in 1992, citing irreconcilable differences. But even after the divorce, Simpson remained possessive and volatile. Then came June 12, 1994, a date forever etched in American history. That night, Nicole Brown Simpson and her friend, Ron Goldman, were found brutally murdered outside her Los Angeles home. Nicole was stabbed multiple times. Her head was nearly severed. Goldman, too, had been savagely attacked. The crime scene was gruesome and deeply personal. Suspicion quickly turned to O.J. Simpson. Blood evidence linked him to the scene. A bloody glove was found near the bodies. A matching glove was discovered on Simpson's property. There were blood stains in his white Ford Bronco, in his driveway, and on a sock in his bedroom. A trail of physical evidence seemed to point in only one direction. But O.J. didn't turn himself in. Instead, on June 17th, he led police on one of the most infamous car chases in American history. Riding in the back of his friend Al Cowling's white Bronco with a gun to his head, O.J. became the center of a slow-speed chase watched live by over 95 million people. Freeways shut down. Networks interrupted NBA Finals coverage. America watched in disbelief as one of its most cherished figures unraveled on national television. Eventually, Simpson surrendered and was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. What followed was nothing short of a media circus. Dubbed the trial of the century, the courtroom drama unfolded over the course of nearly a year. O.J.'s defense team, led by the formidable Johnnie Cochran and backed by Robert Shapiro, F. Lee Bailey, Alan Dershowitz, and a young Robert Kardashian, crafted a defense rooted in doubt and racial tension. Their main argument? O.J. was framed by a racist LAPD, particularly Detective Mark Furman, who had a documented history of using racial slurs. The defense flipped the script. Instead of just focusing on the evidence, they focused on the credibility of those who collected it. Then came the glove. During a pivotal moment in the trial, prosecutors asked Simpson to try on the infamous blood-stained glove found at the crime scene. With the eyes of the world watching, O.J. struggled to get the glove over his hand. It appeared too small. Cochran delivered the now legendary line, "If it doesn't fit, you must acquit." And it worked. On October 3, 1995, after just 4 hours of deliberation, the jury found O.J. Simpson not guilty. The verdict split the nation. Many African Americans saw it as a victory against a justice system that had long been biased and unfair. Others saw it as a miscarriage of justice, a case where fame and manipulation triumphed over truth. But even after walking free, O.J.'s troubles didn't end. In 1997, a civil court found him liable for the wrongful deaths of Nicole Brown and Ron Goldman. He was ordered to pay $33.5 million to the victims' families. That ruling didn't come with a prison sentence, but it confirmed what many already believed. O.J. was guilty in the eyes of civil justice. By this point, the Golden Boy image was long gone. He was no longer the smiling face on TV or the proud Heisman winner. He was a man haunted by scandal, rejected by Hollywood, and reviled by many of the fans who once cheered his name. And still, it wasn't over. After the civil trial, O.J. Simpson's life continued to spiral. He moved to Florida, partly to avoid paying the civil judgment, as the state's laws protected certain assets from seizure. But the shadow of the murders followed him everywhere. He became a pop culture pariah, mocked, scrutinized, and watched closely by the media. Still, Simpson couldn't seem to stay away from controversy. In the early 2000s, O.J. tried to re-enter the public eye in bizarre ways. He gave interviews, played golf, and even hinted at his innocence and guilt in confusing terms. But nothing was as disturbing or as tone-deaf as his 2006 book project. The title said it all, If I Did It. The book, supposedly a hypothetical account of how O.J. would have committed the murders if he had done it, stunned the world. Public outrage exploded. Critics slammed the book as a sick cash grab and a slap in the face to the victims' families. The backlash was so intense that the original publisher pulled the release just weeks before it hit shelves. Eventually, the rights to the book were awarded to the Goldman family as part of their unpaid civil judgment. They republished it, this time under a chillingly altered title, If I Did It, Confessions of the Killer. The word "if" was barely visible on the cover, turning the hypothetical into what many saw as a quiet confession. Yet even after that media storm, O.J. kept going. Then came 2007, the year Simpson finally found himself behind bars. But it wasn't for murder. In September, O.J. led a group of men into a Las Vegas hotel room, attempting to retrieve what he claimed were stolen personal sports memorabilia items. The confrontation turned aggressive. Witnesses said guns were drawn, threats were made, and the group physically prevented people from leaving the room. It wasn't a robbery in the traditional sense. It was a bizarre, almost surreal mission to reclaim his stuff. But the law didn't see it as a misunderstanding. Simpson was arrested and charged with multiple felonies, including armed robbery, kidnapping, and conspiracy. This time, there would be no dream team, no media circus, no cheering fans. In 2008, O.J. Simpson was convicted on all counts and sentenced to 33 years in prison, with the possibility of parole after 9. Ironically, the conviction came 13 years to the day after his acquittal in the murder trial. Some saw it as poetic justice. Others called it delayed accountability. Simpson served nearly 9 years behind bars before being granted parole in 2017. During his hearing, he insisted he had led a conflict-free life, dismissing the Vegas incident as a misunderstanding and distancing himself from any violent past. But the public hadn't forgotten. Now in his late 70s, Simpson lives a relatively quiet life in Las Vegas. He's active on social media, posts golf updates, and occasionally comments on current events, often with a tone that's oddly cheerful, almost like a man who doesn't understand the weight of his legacy. His presence continues to stir unease. For some, he remains a symbol of a broken justice system. For others, a case study in fame gone wrong. And for many, he's simply a reminder of how blurred the lines between celebrity and criminal can be in American culture. But beyond the headlines, the trials, and the twisted fame, lies something darker, a tale of lives destroyed. Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman weren't just footnotes in a scandal. They were people. They had families, futures, and dreams. And while O.J. may have walked free from one courtroom, the scars of what happened in June 1994 never truly healed. In the end, Simpson's legacy is forever stained, not just by the crimes he was accused of, but by the arrogance, denial, and manipulation that followed. He may never face another courtroom for those murders, but the court of public opinion has long since delivered its verdict. O.J. Simpson, once an American icon, forever linked to a double murder. And still, decades later, a name that sends a chill through history. If this story made you think twice about fame, justice, and how quickly a public image can shatter, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more deep dives into the untold sides of history's most shocking stories. Drop a comment below if you think O.J. got away with murder, or if you believe the system worked the way it should. We're just getting started.